All right. Um, so I'm with Think Idea Studio, and we are in Searcy, Arkansas. So we've been doing marketing, digital marketing, print marketing, media placement, website, SEO, all types of stuff, and been doing this for about 13 years, which is for the market and for digital marketing. That's actually a pretty long time because things change so quick out there. So but we've learned a lot, and what I've tried to do is take a snapshot of what we think has been some of the most important things we've seen for the businesses that we deal with and had the most impact on their business, and put it together in a what we call a digital scorecard. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. You guys make sure and let me know if this is working, and that when I get it pulled up, you guys can see. You guys see the binocular person?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. That went on. Yes, there it is.
Yes,
Good.
there it is.
Okay, and then is the screen changing for you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I've been in a presentation before where it did not, and so that's perfect. So yeah, so what we're trying to do is really highlight what we think are some of the most crucial areas for these businesses and what gives them the most impact. Marketing is so saturated and segmented right now, meaning there's so many different avenues you can choose to spend your money, and some of them are fantastic, and then some of them just may not fit exactly what your business needs. And businesses need different things at different times. That's what I'm going to review here. So it's digital scorecard, finding holes in your digital marketing. Let me go to my slide will go here. Okay. So why the digital scorecard? And like I said, there's many viable digital marketing platforms not covered in this presentation. So just because I didn't cover it doesn't mean it's not relevant, or it's not something that could be useful for your business. But we feel like these are the most profitable, the ones that I would start with, especially if you're a new business. So definitely keep that in mind. If we were doing something comprehensive, we'd be here for a week. So I'm going to try to get this done within or under an hour. So if you guys have your business and want to follow along, you're welcome to. You don't have to, but this is going to kind of go closely with our scorecard that we have on our website. But it's at thinkis.com/score. So it's thinkis.com/score, and we'll just get a little bit of business information from you. And as you step through it with us, I'll kind of explain the different steps, and then I'll come back and follow up and give you guys a personalized recommendation based on your business and based on the information we gather. So it's not automated. I actually go in manually, look at your business, and provide some feedback on these different areas. Three main sections we're going to cover: Google, Facebook, and then the SEO, which means search engine optimization, and website. So I put those together because they kind of play hand in hand. So those are going to be our three main sections for today. I wanted to start off for those of you that aren't particularly clear on what happens when a Google search takes place. When you start to type in something like electricians near me, you're going to have three different areas that appear. The top part is the ads. That's going to be your paid marketing, also known as pay-per-click. So people are bidding on a keyword, electricians near me, and McGrew service came up under that. And there's more ads down here, as you can see. You guys see that pointer, that little red pointer?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. The next one, and this is an awesome one, and we are just in love with Google My Business because it does so much and it doesn't take that much time, and it just is a matter of a business claiming it. And I'll go over it a little bit, but Google My Business shows up in here, and those are free listings. It's kind of like what the phone book used to be. And so when you go to google.com/business, you can go in, type in your business, either claim it if they're already trying to list it, or you can create a new one. And so that's one way to just immediately get listed and immediately get traffic for people that are searching, in this case, electrical. Then you go on to your organic listings, okay? These are all listed without paid. These mean that these are the ones that rank normally without pay or without being part of the Google My Business section. This is what SEO does. So when we talk about search engine optimization, it gets you ranked down here on the natural search results or organic search results. And so it's very important. The good thing about that is once it's there, you're not paying for it. Now you may be trying to maintain or keep your listings. These people right here are getting listed through Yelp, Home Advisor, and Angie's List, which are all listing services. So sometimes those are good for search engine optimization to use those listing services. Okay, so the first part of this section, when we get into the meat of it, is Google reviews. Google reviews are huge for businesses. Google reviews are part of the Google My Business suite. And essentially, it plays a role in how the businesses are ranked and how people see you. It says 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as they trust personal recommendations. So that kind of blew my mind when we first thought about it and saw it. And I was not a believer in Google reviews 5 or 6 years ago. I was maybe one of the last ones to the party when we started doing a review campaign for one of our businesses, and we just saw them take off based on people seeing those reviews. If you're ever in an area where there's any tourism, ever in food, ever in service industry, people want to know that they're going to get good service. And we need to get people that we've given good service to come back to us and let us know how we did, so that we're building these Google reviews. So on our scorecard, one of the first parts, it says, do you have a process for generating Google reviews? If you have an awesome plan, mark 10, no plan, mark 0. And if you're just trickling a few in there, you can give yourself whatever score you feel necessary. Some of that will be based on, when you look at your business, how many reviews you have. This is a snapshot, and I'm going to move pretty quick just because there's a lot to cover, but this is a snapshot of the back end of Google My Business here. So when you go into your google.com/business, you'll see this business page, and there's a way to share your Google review link. That's super handy because you can copy that, send in an email. Let's say that I finished a project with somebody and it went really well. We were happy with it. I could just say, hey, John, thank you so much for allowing us to do your wonderful project. If you don't mind, our business thrives off Google reviews. If you wouldn't mind taking a second, just giving us a few sentences in a Google review, it would mean a lot to our business. And you'd be surprised how much just a simple email like that can really help your business generate reviews. And using that link is important to do that because it sends them straight there. So what we want to do with Google My Business reviews is to create a repeatable process, something that we can do month to month, engage that it's working. And we usually incentivize employees or staff to gather reviews. We do not want to incentivize our customers to give us reviews. We want to ask for those reviews and those to be organic. I think it's a little bit odd to say, hey, I'll give you $20 for a good review. Or I'll give you a gift card for a good review. It's okay to take incentives for employees and say, hey, if you can get 3 reviews this month, I'll put you in a drawing for a free steak dinner or something like that. And then you have everybody working together to get those reviews to go into that drawing. So if you can do that on a periodic basis, it can really work in your favor. So we talked about sharing and asking. How many reviews do I need for my business? Anybody ever ask you that before? What's the perfect number of reviews? The main thing is all industries vary. And when you're in marketing, you want to pay attention to your competition. How many do they have? And I would start shooting for that number, trying to work toward that so that we can compete with them on a Google My Business search. But usually a plan that generates 3 to 5 a month will work great. Unless, like I said, unless you're in a very competitive market. Okay, Google My Business. Google My Business is, we've seen people think that their website is huge, and in some cases, your website does exceed the traffic of Google My Business. In other cases, we see this happen, where they don't realize what all's going on, but Google My Business has really got the most line share of traffic. And like I showed you guys where it shows up, but it says is all of your company's business listing accurate and up to date. I've seen so many companies that have a wrong address, have a bad phone number, have bad contact information. These are marketing 101s. Even clients that we deal with, they may change their email and not let us know about it. If you're missing those leads and missing those calls, it's really hard to keep onboarding new clients. So make sure all the business information is accurate and up to date. Here's a quick cross analysis I did of the bottom here is Google Analytics. That is the website tracking service. This is Google My Business here. And you can see the discrepancy in traffic from Google My Business to the Google Analytics. My business had over 5 times higher traffic than the website for this particular dental office. That's amazing. So if you spend a lot of money on a website, but are ignoring Google My Business, you might really be missing a huge opportunity. Google My Business has contact information, reviews, insights, which is their tracking. That's the stats that I showed you in the back end then. Photos and video, posts, which are something that it can be very useful for events or for just posting notifications during COVID. Link to your website, customer messaging. If you get the Google My Business app, you can get message customers directly, and that's very handy. And then a short name allows you people to find your business right away. So top factors determining Google Map rank. So Google My Business and Google Map rank are essentially the same thing because Google My Business shows up on the map. Credibility and visibility. Credibility meaning you have positive reviews, the business is claimed and not unclaimed. Visibility meaning that people can see you have updated photos. Of course, we talked about positive reviews. Then proximity is huge. I may search something in different locations and receive different results. So the closer you are to a business and more relevant it plays a role in how that business comes up. So definitely keep that in mind. If you get frustrated why you're not getting shown, it says Italian cooking in Arkansas, that's probably because it's going to show something that's close by and not something that's far off. So, and then optimized listings just means you have all of your information in there and you are responding to Google reviews. You are just being active. All right. Next thing is Google search ads. And I'm gonna fly through this one. This is something that when you sign up for Google My Business, they'll entice you with a $20 gift card. They'll say, hey, you can run ads on Google. That's great. But a lot of times it's hard to get effective ads without somebody professional doing it for you. This says, so when you search, basically what happens are people bid on that search result. So if I search electricians near me, Google says, hey, what can I get out of this search? Google wants to make money off that search. So what ads do I have and how much are people willing to pay for this search query? Search query is just the string when they're asking, electricians near me. So Google will then look and say, okay, here are 4 or 5 competitors. Which one is the most likely to get clicked on? Not which one is bidding the most, but which one is the most likely to get clicked on, because that's the one that Google wants to serve up. So in order for your ad to be more likely to be clicked on, you want to make sure that your copy matches the keyword searches. So within your Google ads, you have the copy that matches them. You want to make sure that you have, just proper formatted text, proper formatted call to actions. All that has to be done effectively to make these work. So it's not about how much you spend, it's how relevant your ads are to the customer. To be honest, these are best managed by experts who track out what we call conversions. That means when they click on your ad, not only do they land on your website, but they also call or submit a form. If we're not tracking that action, I would be fearful for how much you're spending for clicks that aren't important to your business. And that can get real expensive. So just don't fall in the trap of doing that without having some conversions in place. So copy matching keywords, regular optimizations occurring with reports being delivered. Is someone looking at your account on a month-to-month basis? I see it all the time where they will commit to a gift card for $20, put their credit card information in Google, and then get billed over and over again each month, and not have anything to show for it other than, well, it's getting clicked on a lot. Well, just getting clicked on a lot is not quite good enough. We've got to make sure it's making money. We've got to make sure it's driving revenue. So we want to have reports regularly delivered, and we want to have conversions being tracked using landing pages to collect customer data. So landing pages, basically, that means a page designated for that particular service. A lot of times with digital marketing campaigns, we don't want to send people straight to the front page of the website, because if you have multiple services, it can distract them from what they're actually coming there for. So let's say if it's electricians, for instance, that's what we're using in this example, but maybe they want to have a ceiling fan installed. Well, if you had a landing page specifically for ceiling fan installation, when they click on that, they're not going there and looking and saying, oh, do they even do this? Is this something that I'm wasting their time, and leave? So we see our conversion numbers go higher through relevant landing pages for their ads. So our PPC, pay-per-click with AdWords, what types of businesses work best with this? Now, this is not a comprehensive list. Many other businesses see great results with Google AdWords. These are what we see work the best. Dentists, doctors, roofers, mechanic, auto repair, appliance repair, lawyers, towing services, certain e-commerce that has high enough margins to justify clicks. Plumbers, locksmiths, construction. So we think of, this is what we call pull marketing, meaning when people are asking for it. I need a new roof. I need a doctor. We're not pushing them information about new products because they're not searching for that. If they don't think they need it, Google AdWords may not be there for you. So you will then have to educate them through push marketing, Facebook, and so on and so forth. So any questions so far?
No.
Okay. I'll keep going through Google Display and video ads. So we're still on Google, and Google Display and video ads are part of the Google AdWords suite. Google Display ads are essentially those, those little ads that can follow you around. They could be a picture, like if you went shoe shopping online and then you get followed for, 30 days with that same website if you didn't check out. That would be your Google Display ads. Make sure here's somebody else getting in. We'll let Cecil join. Awesome. So with your Google Display ads, let me go back here. I got people joining and here we go. Perfect. All right, welcome, Cecil. So we want to look at this and give us a score if it's highly optimized, if we know that we're doing things like having buy now buttons, scheduling appointments, a clear message and call to action. That's going to help a lot with these Google Display ads. Here's an example of what these may look like. This is one with a video, and over it, it has a quick view offer call to action. And so that way they don't just see the video, they also have a reason to click and get more information. So video ads are really nice because they display in the first few seconds before it says skip ad is essentially free. So if you're doing a Google video campaign, and we've seen video campaigns really take off with Google just because of the cost and the trackability. All right, let's see. Now we're moving on to Facebook. Any questions of Google? I know I flew through that, but man, there's a lot to cover, and I could stay on it for hours. But I just wanted to give you guys an overview. I think it's really important to know what areas to step in. Google My Business is the most DIY form of Google marketing. The other stuff does take some time and sometimes takes experts. You can learn. There's Google Academies you can get on, and you can get certified in those things. But there's a pretty steep learning curve to make sure that they're done correctly and you're not wasting money. So Facebook, we're moving on to it. Facebook brand presence. Now we're getting into push marketing with Facebook. So as we get into push marketing with Facebook, we're discussing products and things that people may not know about, or services that are new businesses, raising awareness. That's what it's really nice for. So with it, we want to make sure that we have a strong brand. Now, this is the Facebook. This is the actual Facebook. Whoop. Come on now. There we go. This is our Facebook profile page. So with it, we want a strong branded header. We want a nice profile image. If your logo has a lot of text and you can't hardly read it, you might consider doing something a little different with that logo so it's more of a brand image there. But we definitely want the brand image and cover photo there represented, so you can give yourself a score on it. The next one is using custom photography and not stock, and branded graphics for Facebook posts. So does everybody know what stock photography is? It's basically the photography that you purchase from a iStock photo or something that's not really relevant to your business, but just may show nice people doing things that look somewhat like your service. Those are okay, but they're not the best. The best ones are the ones that we actually have photos in the business. Now, this is a well-shot photo here. They don't have to be that well-shot. I'd rather have an average shot photo that's actually in your business than to use just a random photo that you've gotten off of the internet. And here's why. When people see things that are actually going on, it feels authentic. It doesn't feel like they're being marketed to, or sold. When you're doing social media, things need to be very authentic. Things need to look like this is actually happening in your business, and people can see themselves seeing you with a smiling face, seeing you performing a service that looks awesome, like this one here for Thursday Physical Therapy. So good photography is nice. Average photography that's actually what you're doing, I'll accept. And stock would kind of be a last resort, but it's understandable. I mean, it's used from time to time just because you may need it. But and then this has a branded profile image, so you see that as well. All right, Now, the next thing is our messaging on Facebook. Custom messaging for engagement to a target audience. So we can sometimes just put out messaging that we think as a business owner, we think as a business manager is great for us, but sometimes that messaging can really not get and hit our target market because we're not understanding what they're asking for us. So, for instance, this one here, this is with Harding Place, and this is here locally, and they actually have it's a senior citizens home. And they offer retirement living, but we want to make sure that, hey, here's the message, to the caregivers, that they're going to be active and they're going to be cared for and they're having a good time. And so that message is specifically catered for the caregiver. It's not catered for just some random passerby or someone that might stumble upon the page. So if you have good branding, give yourself or good messaging, give yourself 5 points there. The next one is utilizing Facebook ads with call to action. So Facebook ads are different than Facebook posts. What I recently showed you here were Facebook posts. Facebook posts, you see the boosted thing, promote this post. You'll see that at the bottom of your post if you're ever doing that. Those are the easiest ones to do for people that aren't looking to get way down deep into Facebook ads. We highly recommend boosted posts. We think they're fantastic for the amount of money you get. They get a lot of reach, and they're pretty easy to do. Facebook ads, on the other hand, are a little bit different. You can highly target audiences and groups of people. You can target interest groups. You can do lookalike audiences from visitors to your website. You can do a whole number of things, but they're a lot more complicated to actually get some response out of. They also have a call to action button. For this one, this would be shop now. And call to action buttons need good landing pages. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and I'm going to show you an example of that. And I've always thought these solo stubs are kind of cool. I've been looking for one. I don't know if you guys have used them or not, but that would be fun to have as it's starting to cool down. So that's a good example of limited time offer. They're giving me a great reason to click. And then it says Facebook ad landing page. We put in there no navigation, meaning we don't want to send them to a bunch of other links to take them away from there, from what drew them. The call to action matches the ad copy, and it serves one purpose. So when I was interested in that stove, you can give yourself 5 points if this happens. When I'm interested in that stove, it goes straight here and it gives me more information on the stove. You notice at the top of this ad, they're not taking me a bunch of different places. They're not saying about us, our team. They're just taking me straight to the information that I need. And so that really helps when it comes to me wanting to make sure that I want to make sure that I am converting as a customer. Because if I'm not converting with this here, there's no reason for them to spend the money on the click. So you've spent money to get them here. Make sure that you have a really good landing page for those ads. So I understand that not everybody's going to be doing these ads for themselves, but if you're ever contracting someone to do these, you want to make sure this is in place. These are important questions to ask. Otherwise, it may be affecting how your campaign is doing. All right. So the next thing is maintaining proper PR and customer service, receiving positive customer reviews, and answering back in a short time. So if you do that, and a lot of people do this really well because it's going to get notified in Facebook, and that's great. But if you're just ignoring these, that can be a problem, and it can really be costing you some money. So with that means basically, if someone's messaging you on Messenger, have some form of response. If someone's giving you a negative response, make sure you know how to handle those negative responses. A lot of times the best thing to do is to take those off of line and off feed, let them know, here's a phone number to call me. We would love to work this out, and not go back and forth on Facebook. Because once you start that, you're not going to win. It's not about winning. It's about making sure that they know, the people that are looking know that you care enough to contact them and give them an opportunity to talk to you directly. I'm sure you guys know that some of those social media ways can really get out of hand really quick. And so when you're dealing with reviews, if they're negative, make sure that you have a way and a process for getting those negative reviews and contacting those people, and then responding in a short amount of time. Okay, SEO or search engine optimization. This one is a little technical. There are some simple things that you can do, but this one is a pretty technical. Can y'all see my whole screen here? Okay, good deal. Just making sure. So when you're dealing with a website, we talked about that third spot of the search engine results page. Sometimes that's referred to as the SERP or SERP, search engine results page. That third section is the organic section. That can really make a lot of good revenue for a business if you're shown there. Ways to get there can be with listing sites. Ways to get there can be following these steps I'm laying out here. But some of these are good to ask questions from your web developer, or if you do know some web knowledge or you have a way to get into your website, you can go in and make these changes yourself. So properly formatted HTML and meta tags for sites. That sounds like a bunch of jargon, but HTML is essentially what a lot of sites are written in. Meta tags mean data tags. So that means telling things about if it's a electrician, explaining a little bit more about their services. These tags give you descriptors for what the search engines see. So here's an example of how meta tags can be used to your advantage and formatted properly. With Rideout Lumber, they put high quality lumber and building materials and hardware. So it's not just lumber. They want to show that they have more than just lumber. They also focus on building sections for careers, lumber and hardware, doors and transom. All these are done on the back end of your website to give yourself a great search engine presence. If these aren't formatted correctly, you might just have on there Rideout Lumber, nothing else, no other things under that. So when you start searching your website, make sure these things are set up to where they're pulling information that's relevant. All right, clear navigation. This means concise menu items, easy to navigate, contact information above the fold. So if that is you, give yourself a 5. If you don't know where to click and your website's busy, we'll score it down there. So the important part about navigation being good, one thing that Google looks at is in all website, all search engines look at is basically bounce rate. That means when people get to your page and it's not relevant, they leave immediately. So you guys have probably gotten to a page before and said, this is not it, bounce. This is not it, bounce. Finally, oh, there it is. I was looking for puppies. These are the puppies I was looking for. I can click and find stuff. So they're not negating them because the bounce rate is poor. So good navigation, good description really helps out in the bounce rate. It also helps people find what they're looking for so they can convert as a customer. We also want to try to have contact information as good as we can above the fold. That may be a contact us button, but if we can have phone number, address, and all that above what we call the fold, essentially where they're shown without scrolling, then that tends to help a lot with customer retention and customer acquisition. All right, now call to action. I've used this a lot. Call to action is big when it comes to marketing. We want to sell. If we don't have a call to action up, a lot of times we just aren't converting as well as we can. So I want to make sure that they're very clear and easy to see. It's clear what they're wanting. Let's look at the example. So this is a dentist office that we work for. We either want to get a review or we want them to book an appointment, learn more about us. So here's our click, call to action, and this will scroll through. Sometimes it says book an appointment, sometimes it says write a review, but we want to make sure we're getting this message across. And so the call to action is going to be very important. So if that's there, give yourself a 5. See how I'm doing on time. I'm doing really good. I'm gonna blow this out of the water on time. I'm moving fast. Mobile friendliness, website dynamically formats to various screen sizes. Believe it or not, we still see a lot of websites that are not mobile friendly. Google is now taking them down in rank automatically. They can tell that they're not responding to screen sizes and the user experience is poor. So if our website is still stuck not being mobile, we need to get that fixed quick. So make sure that we have mobile menus, mobile navigation. We can click through and it works really well. A lot of sites that you have the builders can do that. They have built-in mobile friendly stuff. So if you're using like a Wix or if you're using a Square, WordPress does a good job of it, but it's also not quite as plug and play for just the user that's not experienced in web. But mobile friendliness is going to be play a big role in making sure that you have great rankings and that you're not getting negated for these. So, okay, this is a fun one. So, the domain name for your website is easy to spell and remember. So, one thing that a lot of people don't know is actually why it's called a domain. A domain is your www for us, thinkis.com or thinkis.com. So the domain is basically a collection of a number of different records. And with these records, there's another person coming in. These records handle your email, they handle your website, they can handle a number of other different things, whether it's subdomains. So that's why it's called a domain, is because that domain.com is a collection of records. Well, we want that to be as short and as easy for people to use as possible. Here is one of the world's longest domains. It was like 77 characters. Imagine trying to communicate that with your customers. Well, when you start adopting a domain or purchasing a domain, you're going to notice yourself saying it to them and having to say, if you have dashes, if you have weird dots, if you have a different extension at the end, if it's .international or .eu or something off, you're going to have to say that a lot, and eventually it's going to be hard to communicate. So we want to make sure that these domains are as short as possible. I like to say try using the phone test. What that means is essentially saying, like for me, if somebody calls and go to my website, it's thinkis.com. And usually that doesn't get it. Usually I have to say thinkis, looks like thinkis.com. So that's kind of the phone test, is I can say it out loud and people can remember it. If it's really long and people can't, then you might consider a different domain. And I wouldn't say if your domain is highly optimized and everything else that you change it. But when you're first looking for one, it's really important that the phone test passes. So keep that in mind. All right, up-to-date graphics, ensure your graphics and photography and video contact links and information are all current and accurate. We did a short Facebook Live the other day of saying, hey, when's the last time you've gone in and tested your form? Actually go to your website, type in your information, and make sure you receive that information. We actually got calls saying, hey, we've updated our email. Hey, this and this. And there could be so many inquiries that you could miss just because you haven't checked your contact information regularly. So I know it sounds simple. We see it all the time. Make sure that is all up to date and your information is current. And so that will definitely help you get your score. So that's going to come together and create your website score, or not your website score, excuse me, your digital score. What we're trying to do is figure out the digital footprint that your business has, how optimized it is, so that we can go in and look and see if we can find holes in it. Oh, I'm not doing that. Maybe I should be doing this. Oh, I'm a plumber and people are asking for me and I'm not on Google My Business, or maybe search ads or something that I want to do. And I'm not doing that right now because that may be having your business suffer. So make sure that whatever you're looking through, that some of these aren't relevant to all people. So just because you put this in and you get a low score, you may not need to be doing every single one of these. These are just the broadest, of taking a broad brush and saying, here's what most of our clients need and use consistently. So when you submit that score, I'll be happy to get back with you, let you know kind of what your business is and what I think would be best used, and maybe some things that may be focused on that could be costing you money. So again, happy to look at that for you guys. Okay, so this is the 5-star challenge. Since we talked so much about reviews earlier, one thing we really like to make sure and do or work together as a community and as a team to support our other businesses. So I challenge you guys to go to a business that you've had good service with. Don't make up anything. That's not what this is. But if you've had good service, they've given you a good experience, go tell them about it. It will help their business out immensely. And when it does that, it will reciprocate. And so with communities, with Main Street groups, with chambers, whoever it is, if we can just create a day of the month, put it on the calendar, create a day of the month and say, who have I done business with this month? Who can I go and bless with a wonderful review? And you'll feel good about it. The businesses will thank you for it, and it'll help them continue to grow and improve their rank. So that's just a little challenge we want to throw out there. Okay, so again, I wanted to move pretty quick here, just because there's a lot to cover. But give you a little bit about our agency. We are just a boutique full service agency in Searcy, Arkansas. Again, we've served over 2,000 clients, do branding, websites, digital marketing strategies, really whatever it is you need. And if it's not something we can find out, we're happy to direct you to those that can. So that's a little background on us. And if you want your free digital score, just go to thinkis.com/score. And like I said, that's thinkis.com/score. And let us know, and we'd be happy to help you out with that. So with that, any questions? I moved fast. I know I did. There's a lot of things covered, but this digital scorecard has a lot of pieces to it. I'd be happy to answer any questions here, or you guys can email me. It's justin@thinkis.com. It's JUSTIN@thinkis, looks like thinkis.com. I know we had some new people jump in. Anybody, anything? Move too fast? Blank stares? No, we're good. Awesome. Okay, well, I wish you.
We might tell them, Justin, is we are recording.
Yes.
So if you jumped in late, we can send you the recording where you can listen to the entire presentation.
Absolutely. We definitely have it recorded so we can send your way. This scorecard is one of the more, covers a lot of topics. So I know I keep that in mind, but I want to make sure that you guys take away from this, maybe what angles you guys should pursue for your business or organization, maybe what angles may be costing you money that you can stay away from, or what avenues. And hopefully that can be add some value to your business long term. All right. If there's nothing else, I'll stop the recording, and we can all sign off, and I can get this to you, and we can send it to the people that didn't make it this morning. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, Justin. We appreciate your time and giving us lots of good information to look at, think over, and try to put into practice.
Well, you guys are very welcome, and contact me if you need anything in the future, and I'll be happy to help. And if you fill out that score, I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. We've actually been inundated with a bunch of scores, which are great. And so I'm trying to go through and look at each of these businesses and try to make sure we have some good feedback for them. We're definitely here to help.
Thank you. We look forward to doing other things with you in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Bye, Brenda. Good to see you.
You can send it to me when you get